Welcome. Today we've got this DW088. It's a little red 2-beam laser, you know. It's going. That beam seems dull, but it's still going. That's not why we're here today. We're here because of this broken bracket. So what kind of spanner would fit that? The answer is, I don't know. I have a new second-hand bracket. This bracket was donated to me by the gods of power tools that came into my possession by a series of fortunate events. So I'm going to just show you how this comes off. Get yourself a pair of pointy nose pliers or needle nose pliers or whatever you call them, and go like that. You should be able to screw them off. If it's really tight, you can put it in the vise and put a spanner on it with needle nose pliers as well. I'm just going to show you what's under here. There's a little plastic shim here on this side. See, that's it there. And we'll try and not lose any of this here. Let's come straight off. I'm going to show you what's under here too. There's a couple of little shims there. Three as a matter of fact. 3 plastic shims there. So there's 3 shims goes on here. I'm going to do a full rebuild. That shim doesn't even have to come off. Just put them back on, all 3 of them. Now we get the new bracket. You really can't go wrong here. Just put that on like that, and then the bigger plastic shim here, plastic sort of washer, you know, and you just tighten up. That's the old one. It's irrelevant now. There we are. That's great. So that's it fixed. Got this Bosch GBH4DFE. It's plugged in and all, but it's not going. First thing you look at is the brushes. And the brushes are accessible on the bottom here. Looking at the brushes, even if I pull one out here, I don't think these are the type of the stoppers on them. There's a bit there. That wouldn't stop her from going completely. So I would say it's probably not the brushes. Try this at home. I'm going to plug her in again and give the brushes a little wiggle, give the lead a little wiggle, and see if we can get anything to activate here. I'm going to use this insulated screwdriver to make things a wee bit better, hopefully. What do we see? I'm happy with the switch here. Giving this brush a poke here. Don't think it's a brush, not this. This shouldn't be able to be. Like this. See, that's the problem. That connection's broke there. That's the problem. So that's safely unplugged again now, and what I need to do is I'll probably pull out that brush. Alright, and screw out this brush holder to see what I can do. Once that pulled out, you can see the difference there. This connection's broke. It's been singed and burned and messed up, you know. So we're gonna have to try and get some kind of soldering job done on there or something. If I can get a bit of wire soldered onto that, maybe it'd save me a lot of stripping. That's not making contact with anything in there, just pulled it in through the other side here. I'm going to have to keep that wire tight right enough. There's going to be no margin for error. Put this well back because I'm going to use one of these things here. It's called a wee solder stick. It's handier in soldering, and when you have plenty of room, it's easier. We've got to tuck our wires on now. So that they don't beat in the way. The brush back on now. Gonna hot glue this in place so it doesn't move. So you don't want these wires moving. So here we are, she's all back together. All the screws in. This is the moment of truth now. This one's going. It's an Eben stock mixing drill or refiner or something, which is the same thing. The variable speed's not going in the switch. You get all or nothing. Nothing in between there. Nothing in between. Even attempt to repair that, and nearly try and clean it up a wee bit. As you can see, it's covered in plaster. It's an occupational hazard with these things. This outside, so not to make a complete mess of the workshop. So here goes. Refina Megamix MM18 must be, or 19 or something. 18. Anyway, we'll go with that. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get the screws out now after that bit of rough partial cleaning. I'm slacking this one. Let's see if we get the side off. There's a switch, you know it. Right, well, it's about a week later and the new switch has finally arrived. Looks like a good match for the old one, so we'll just get that stuck in now. I find with these things the easiest way is the best way. So you just take them one wire off at a time and putting it onto the new one, so you don't get mixed up. Also, you can take pictures of the wire setup so you don't get confused, and you can always go back to the picture if you do get mixed up. So that's a good tip, but one at a time, just change it over. Seems to be the best way. Makes it easy to do it yourself. That's it all changed over now. Everything in its place. Only thing left to do is plug her in and see if the variable speed's working now. So that's perfect. And look at this 3-head laser from Dewalt. That's it in the go position now, so that beam works. The other two do not. No, nothing. I'm not traditionally a laser man at all. Not a repair man at all for lasers usually. So I might have to take this in a bit of a road trip. 8 miles away is my brother's workshop. He has a microscope, and if you look, I can't even get close enough, there's little microscopic wires there. There was a couple of those broke, we resoldered them. Some of the connections were bad, and we're just going to calibrate it, and I think we're good to go. The laser back together now, so we'll just slam in the battery and see if we get anything. 1 beam, 2 beam, 3 beam. So the jobs are good. This 3/4 Milwaukee M18 wrench, which is non-functional at the moment. This featured in my channel a couple of weeks ago, where I showed you exactly what was wrong with it, and I had to stop it there because I hadn't got the parts to complete the repair. Well, that's changed. I've got a full electronic module in here. This is a genuine part from the TTA supplier, the local one. To get into it again, we've got to get all the screws again, because after the last video I put this lovely machine back together. I didn't want to lie in a butts. Here we are. Now we've got into it, I'm going to show you again what is wrong. As you see, look, she's frazzled. The guy that owns this was telling me the smoke came billowing out of her, so it was fairly obvious there was an issue. There's something broke there too. Anyway, that's the issue there. Let's get this bad boy out of the box to see what we've got. Let's see. I'll show you the difference between the old and the new here. Burnt, not burnt, you know, fairly simple there anyway. This is an absolute scene getting all these wires into place, but even had to take that plate off again, and it's a tricky wee job. In there by degrees, so if this on here now, and that's in place, and if this back on, the holder will just sit on there. Have to make sure the wires don't get crushed. Have to make sure the strip is nicely in there out of the way. It's not getting upped with any of the body parts, so there's that. That's a problem. I'll have to fit this up onto the head. That's your anvil head. We'll get there, and this sits in the body here and here. There's a little track for it there. There's a place for everything, but you have to make sure it's in its right place, because there's no margin for error at all. Oh, there we go. Nice. This thing has done nothing. Here's a ball bearing. We need to put that back in. See that? It sits here. We put that back where it goes. There we are. That over the top. So that's the old one there, so we might keep it for future experiments. So here we go now. Get her all lined up. Oh, nice. Nice one. You see the track for this is there. Pushed into its place. It's damaging the wires, of course. There's a broken wire anywhere in this, you would just like, how would you ever find it? These are little things you need to watch for when you're closing this up, where everything's sitting, and you can push things in as best you can, and they can bounce out of position, and then you have a wire getting upped and you have future problems. Milwaukee 3/4 inch all put together now. I'm going to put on a battery. I'm kind of nervous about this, to be honest, but here goes. Something, hopefully. Just lit up. Yep. I'm calling that fixed. This BHP 452 is an old Makita brushed machine. This one's got an issue. There. You can hold it. Up. The first thing we do if we get one of these is to open the back to see what the brushes are like. Well, a quick look will tell me that somebody has replaced the brushes in this in an attempt to try and fix it, but it hasn't done the job. The bearing's okay, but we know the motor has expired. We need a new one. There's no melting on the brush holder, so that's good. We can probably save that and the brushes. It's just a matter of replacing this bit, the motor. So we just start tearing this apart now to get at the business. There we are. The brushes are brand new, so we can reuse them. They're sliding okay in the holder too, so that's important. We'll reuse that fill coil, we'll just clean it a little bit. This motor's obviously got cooked up. So here's the brand new one. It's going to replace that old one there. Give that a little blow out and a little wipe down, so it'll do the job. We'll just put that new motor on, new armature into it, should I say. These are the two components of the motor, if you want to be very specific. That hasn't had any exceptional heating, so we'll be able to reuse that. This should be a good job when we're finished. There's little knots there. That has to go to the bottom if you're doing one of these models yourself. That's slotted in like that. That's it all back together. Let's put it back in and see what happens. Try it out. I just can't hold it the same, so it looks like she's fixed. Pretty good. Try a new one. I'm calling that fixed, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and check out the channel for all my other videos.